Hey, everybody. Michelle is here in the building on this afternoon on the West Coast. I just finished having me something to eat and I feel good like I know I should. Um, I want to come back through and say some more things about the dangers of meditation based on my experience. Okay, dangers of meditation based on my experience. That way, if you choose to, you can avoid some of the pitfalls, but we're all going to make mistakes and we all have to, but we don't need to put ourselves in danger per se while making mistakes, if that makes sense. So, dangers of meditation. I mentioned a while ago that I used to use tools in meditation as well, or I mentioned it on a video, where back in the day, in my early 30s, I got introduced to a type of meditation series that were focused on the Hertz sound, Hotel Zulu sound. And this particular company had sort of stumbled on to a particular Hertz sound that he managed to create and build as his own, is what he said. And so I decided to join that program because I had a problem with concentrating because the environment just did not allow it, okay, where I was at the time. So what I did is I decided to give it a try, give it a shot, and attempt to see what it does for me. And so I was on that program. And like I said, it was just a tool. It's just tools. It's nothing. No one says that you can't use a tool when you're meditating, like some type of sound. I told you about sound. Some people start using the bowls. Some people have music in the background. Some people have like this thing here. Those kind of things to give them a certain sound. But like I said, this particular company sort of stumbled on to something I thought worked very well for me, and it involved Hertz sounds. And he sort of kind of tweaked it into something that he could sell to people and market to people. I fell on board with that. And, just to be skeptical, I was skeptical, but I knew I needed something to block out all the other noise that was going on around me. And it was hard for me to concentrate where I was at the time. So I got into that. And I want to admit something. There was a noticeable difference in me after a few months or so, because the program lasted. It was anywhere from. It was a lifelong program that lasted approximately 10 years. Okay, and I was on board with it. I was disciplined and everything, and I did notice a difference in me being able to concentrate, and I was calm because what was required only when all you had to do is just sit passively somewhere, or just go sit your ass down somewhere and just put the headphones on, and there was nothing you were supposed to do. You were supposed to just sit there. You wasn't, and if your thoughts start wandering, just gently bring them back or ignore it. But you were not supposed to be talking. You were just supposed to be sitting there and relaxing. And what was good about it, you could do it either or, whether you're sitting down in a chair. It's like what they have now, where people use it to study, to do whatever they're doing now. Because a lot of people are doing that now. I'm not sure what is involved with it now, but this was like over, I don't know, so many years ago. Like I said, early 30s. And so now everything is kind of, a lot of things are suspect. In other words, you can't trust what you're hearing. There's so much interference with our hearing and with sounds and tones, okay? So that's why you have to go to people that you feel comfortable to help produce things for you. If you want a certain Hertz sound, go to somebody that specialized in that. I told you, I said to someone that I found out about, I think anyone that deals with music, like these executive producers that are into hip hop, on the hip hop scene. Okay. Because like I said, everything else is suspect. You don't know I think they call it low frequency now. Yeah, they call it low frequency. Let me see what's going on with that. So, like I said, I was into that, and I was disciplined and dedicated for 10 years in that program, and I did notice a noticeable difference. Okay, the only thing that I got caught up in is I became cocky and arrogant about certain things because of what this activity allowed me to do. Now, was it literal, figuratively, metaphorically? Or was I delusional? Was I hallucinating? Blah, blah, blah. It could be all those factors all in one. Okay, and then I started playing around, attempting to figure out things more than I needed to know. In other words, I was trying to take on more than I could handle. It says it's low fidelity. Okay, quality sound. It's a low fidelity. All right, and so everybody can do it now. Everybody's doing it. So you can have harmonic. Something can be harmonious and also disharmonious as well when you're dealing with sounds and tones. I told you that. So a lot of people have been able to kind of manipulate sounds and be deceptive with it. And a lot of people in music know how to, especially these executive, um, uh, good intention producers out there. There are those out there, you know. They're not attempting to manipulate and indoctrinate because some have figured out that you can be saying something, talking loud and going on and on behind that, where the person listening on their headphones don't even hear that people are talking. Okay, and that's where the manipulation came in, and the indoctrination. So these music producers were able to, not even music producers. There's a lot of people involved with that. All right, a lot of people, nefariously, hidden hand types, those that were into mind control and manipulation. So some figured out that you can do that with music, and no one will hear that you're saying something in the background. Subliminals, right? Which can be visual, auditory. So anyway, I used that type of technology when it was introduced back in the day. And thankfully, I made a lot of mistakes that snapped me out of my delusion of grandeur about what I was able to do. And I'm not going to go into all what I was doing and all that. It was more so delusional. Okay, so in other words, it was silent sounds in the background. So a lot of people have figured out that they could be influential. I can never influence people that way in a hypnotic sense. And you know, like I said, you had no idea what people were saying in the background to you and how they were possibly indoctrinating you, attempting to, wedge their way into your subconscious. Okay, which is very dangerous. A lot of people in the music industry were a part of that. They'll deny it, but they were a part of it. You know. So in other words, they were attempting to take you places, and most of it, like I said, was hallucination and delusional. But you felt like you were, just like any drug can make you hallucinate and have you delusional about what you're capable of, and it's all in your thoughts. It's all in your thoughts, in your imagination, in your fantasies, and that's how a lot of people get hurt. It's no different than being induced with drugs. Okay, so I was a part of that as well. The initial stages of it. Where they were using hurt sounds, and it helped certain. There are hurt sounds or natural sounds actually, but we have so much interference. A lot of people are not picking it up. We have too much artificial interference. So these low frequencies or they say low fidelity is what they're calling it, or sound quality is considered low fidelity. So anyway, I got mixed up in that as well, and became kind of delusional about my skills and abilities and all this and that and the other, because when you deal with the right hertz sounds without interference. See, that's why it's so dangerous on the social media platform, because you have no idea if anything's being interfered with or not, and that people are saying things in the background that you can't hear. Okay, that's that degeneration that we are. Degenerate. That's where we've gone. So I wouldn't trust it from anyone unless I was in the studio with them while they were creating it and know that they weren't saying things in the background. I'm just being honest. So I just rely on my meditation skills and abilities since I have it. But I'm saying for people that are starting, so you need to be very aware of what's going on with these beats, okay? Because they can indoctrinate you. And like people are using them to, because you know why I say that? Because everybody's doing it. And usually when everybody's doing something, there's something behind the scenes to me. There's something going on behind the scenes as to why everybody's into that now. Where people use it to relax, to study, deep focus, calming you down and stuff like that. It's like I said, it's just so easy for you to be manipulated and mind control. All right, remember back in the day when they had them black and white televisions, they had that white noise and what they call white noise and black noise and this. I mean, that back in the day, that was also used to manipulate as well and indoctrinate. It'll be denied, of course, because because most of the time when somebody realizes how, when say for example, a creative person creates a certain type of technology that appears to be revolutionary, guess who's going to come in and weaponize it? Just guess and think about that. Literally, figuratively, metaphorically. There's this certain element of personalities that see weapons with every type of technology. A weapon of control, a weapon of manipulation, toys. It's all about toys. Okay? So again, I got mixed up in that. Not mixed up, but I got mixed up in the delusional parts of that instead of focusing on the benefits of it. Okay, it was just a tool. That's all it was. It wasn't no magic potion. It wasn't the end all or nothing. It wasn't going to end. If I had depression, I would have still had depression. Okay, if I had low self-esteem, I would have still had low self-esteem. It was just a tool to help me focus and concentrate and deal with the issues at hand and resolve things. Okay, that pure hurts sound. Okay, so that's why I caution anybody that's coming into meditation new. Do everything in your power to avoid these type of so-called elevation of consciousness or elevation of subconscious, where you are where you're interfering per se. Just do everything in your power to do it in nature as best you can. That's what I would caution you to do. Okay? Because like I said, when there's so many people got their hands in things, that makes me question what's really going on behind the scenes. Okay? And I'm sure so many people are dealing with music and beats and sounds because you can do it independently. You don't necessarily need an executive producer now. Everybody can produce their own music, produce their own sounds and beats, And then they probably figured out that there's, and like I said, somebody always knows back doors and things, okay? And they want to tweak things, and it's all about mind control, manipulation, and indoctrination, controlling people, okay? The powers that be, whoever they are, the hidden hands, desperately want to control the population. more so because they know that there is a population issue. Okay, but yet they say other things behind the scenes. I mean, in front of you. They say, oh no, there's plenty of food for everybody. There's plenty of space for everybody. There's plenty of room for everybody. And all this lying to us and lying to you. Okay? There's no reason for our infrastructure to be crumbling as it is and having these climate destructions if everything was all dandy, if everything was fine. Everything's fine. How many times have you had that happen? Oh, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. Well, maybe it will and maybe it won't. It all depends on the intentions. So again, I made my mistakes and that's why I'm sharing. But we all need to make mistakes. All I'm guarding you against is some hidden dangers, but everything's free will. Whew. Okay. Hey, it's free will. If you want to listen to that, you can listen to anything you want, because that type of entrainment, it's like an entrainment, I think is what they call it, can be done with any music, actually, if you're listening to it with headphones. Because I remember, too, back in the day, somebody was working on a technology where they were attempting to wipe out memory or something like that. And they were attempting to have you wipe out your memory and then replace it with other memories or something. That's dangerous, too. Your memories are your memories, and you need to keep them as your memories. You don't want to wipe out your memories. Why? Why would you want to do that? We've already done that for millions and millions of years. Okay? Our memories are, we don't know anything about who we are, why we are, and what we are, because our memories continually get wiped out after every personality that comes through, and it's not supposed to be that way. That's my point. Our memories serve a purpose, so you don't want to wipe them out. You don't ever want to wipe out your memory. What you want to do is leave it alone. And when you need something from your memory, it's just like a library. You go to the library of your memories and see what you can pull out of there. If it's if you want it to serve something. Yeah, they say it's like entrainment, some type of rhythm. And that's fine. That sounds fantastic because it says something about it's an alignment. But what's the intention, though, to entrain somebody? I told you we always want to weaponize things. Something turns like the atom. The atom is used for positive things, but more so focused on the negativity side of it with nuclear weapons. Let's see if it has something about music. In physics, it's two interacting oscillation systems assumed the same period. So yeah, entrainment. It's an internal. They try to internally sync you up. Internal rhythm. Which, like I said, sounds fantastic, but I'm just telling you, it's being used for nefarious purposes, though. However, all you gotta do is look at the results. To weaponize. And when I say weaponize, it means to control you, manipulate you, and indoctrinate you. So to be on the safe side, just avoid it if you choose to. But if you think you can handle it, go ahead and handle it. See what happens. See, do experiment on activities that you participate in, like praying to yourself. Replace, whoever you're praying to, put a picture of yourself there and pray to yourself and see what happens. Test it out. See what happens. Go there. We need to go to places that we refuse to go or we're not allowed to go. Places no one has ever been, So I'm going to say a little bit more, of course, in bits and pieces about things, but I'm going to stop it there, and go ahead and finish my day. So enjoy your day, and I'll send peace and love to everybody all over the stars and moon and mountains. And trust me, I'll be back.